GEOKON's Model 6140 offers a seamless solution for conventional in-place inclinometer installations. The system arrives fully assembled with a few simple steps to complete the installation process. The 6140 inclinometer string will be comprised of a bottom sensor, a discrete number of intermediate sensors, and a topside sensor. The bottom sensor is manufactured with a machined ball stud for connection to the tensioning weight. Intermediate sensors make up the length of the string between the bottom and top sensor. Spacings are provided in either half-meter or 2-foot increments, depending on your needs. The topside sensor has an integrated cable with a molded 4-pin connector, which is easily mated to the readout cable. It also comes pre-assembled with a custom length steel suspension cable, allowing for easy connection to the suspension bracket. The modern design of the 6140 sensor is smaller and lighter than previous generations of the IPI and is configured with a 3-wheel design to accommodate any standard inclinometer casing. The fixed wheels of the sensor are installed in the A+ orientation or plane of primary movement. In addition to the 6140 system itself, there are a few components necessary for the installation process. The suspension weight, when connected to the bottom sensor, helps to draw the string into the casing, and once installed will hold the string in tension. A simple installation tool is provided with the system, which can be used to hold the system in place over the casing at any point during the installation process. The topside readout cable mates seamlessly to the molded 4-pin connector on the top sensor, and the length of this cable can be tailored according to the needs of your project. The suspension bracket suspends the system from the top of the casing. So the 6140 system will ship in a customized packaging solution that's weatherproof. We would advise you as the customer not to pay this system out ahead of time, that it's really better to bring this shipping package right to the site, to the borehole, and install into the borehole directly from the package. This can be done with a single person, but we would also advise a 2-man crew just to make it a little bit easier for yourselves. So the first steps in installing your 6140 system into the borehole is to attach the suspension weight to the bottommost sensor. So after removing the bottommost sensor from the packaging, you'll want to remove the locking pin that ships pre-assembled to the suspension weight. Do that by depressing the barb and removing the pin. Then retract the sleeve on the suspension weight and mate it to the bottom sensor. Release the sleeve and then reinsert the pin. Now the string is ready to be installed. So the next step in installing the 6140 system is to actively start loading sensors into the borehole. So we'll start by feeding the suspension weight first. Remember that the fixed wheels are the A+ orientation of the sensor. So you'll want to make sure that you have that aligned as desired for your site. You'll want to start by introducing the first fixed wheel and then keeping track of the spring-loaded wheel that it's actively engaging the grooves in the casing. As you're loading sensors into the borehole, it's really important to try to keep the sensors in a vertical position so that the load is maintained through the aircraft cable and not through the signal cable. Additionally, you'll want to make sure that sensors are being installed in a consistent orientation and not being twisted where it could actually influence the length between the sensors. Once you reach the last sensor in your string, now's the time to grab your installation tool And once you get that second-most sensor in, you simply drop the tool onto the top of the casing and then lower the string the rest of the way until that top sensor just sits on top of the tool. This is going to take all the weight of the string and allow you to then attach the rest of the components without worrying about safety issues or losing the string. So the first thing is to take the readout cable and make electrical connection with the topmost sensor. Okay. Next, you'll want to grab the suspension cable, which is pre-attached to the topmost sensor. Hook that onto the suspension bracket and then snug up this locking sleeve so that it cannot come back off. Okay, lastly, we just need to lift the string slightly so that we can remove the installation tool, and then continue by installing the last sensor and lowering the string until the suspension bracket rests on the top of the casing.